सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Third verse. कोशेषु पञ्चस्वधिराजमाना बुद्धिर्भवानी प्रतिदेहगेहम् साक्षी शिवः सर्वगतोऽन्तरात्मा साकाशिकाहं निजबोधरूपा। So, Kosheshu Panchasu, the one that is as though hidden. Where is this Kashi? As though hidden among layers and layers and layers of wrong notions about the I. Wrong notions about the I are both, it is both in connection to the Jagat and in connection to internally oneself, but really that is an arbitrary distinction. It's a totally arbitrary distinction because what is there is just everything is in relation to myself anyway. So these are 5 areas of error: thinking myself to be the body, thinking myself to be the prana, thinking myself to be as good as the mind, and thinking myself to be as good as what I do, thinking myself to be done in by various things, various problems. I am a victim, I am a doer. If you are a doer, then you are what? Subject to guilt. And if you are an experiencer, you are subject to hurt. That is what it is. And the guilty one marries the hurt one. It's a very interesting marriage because the guilty one keeps apologizing, and for the hurt one, it's never enough. Yeah. So this is my inner world of mix up. It's a mixed up world where I think myself to be finite in association with the body, mind, sense complex, in association with all kinds of finite objects, things, etc. So, but in and through, in again, don't look at it as a location. In and through this misconception, not in and through the body, in through the mind, it's not like some kind of a, since it's an inward journey, we say in and through. In and through all these misconceptions and notions about the I, what is there, what is evident is this Kashi, this self-shining self that keeps up all these things without being any one thing. So, Kosheshu Panchasu, Panchasu Kosheshu, Adhirajamana. And then how do we discern who this I is? We use the Buddhi. The Buddhi is not the author of this knowledge. It's not the agent of this knowledge. It's just a receptacle. It's a trained receptacle where the knowledge takes place with the help of the exposure to the Shastra. So this Buddhi is the goddess Bhavani, the one who is the antidote to samsara. Samsara gets allergic to goddess Bhavani. And so she is Bhavani, and then when the Buddhi falls back upon itself, what do you mean by falls back upon itself? The Buddhi is the cognizer. It is the one that says this. This exists, this exists, this exists. It is cognizing everything. And when it cognizes everything as this exists, this exists, this exists, then what is it? It is like a goddess. It is doing the kriya of naming, cognizing. And when it recognizes itself as the truth of everything without being any one thing, it falls back upon itself. Then it is called Shiva, Sakshi. So to put this the same thing differently, the buddhi has a dual role. It is Jagataha Upalabdhisthanam and Jagataha Adhishthanasya Upalabdhisthanam also. So first, it is the place where the Jagat is cognized, correct? Yeah, Jagat is cognized in the buddhi. This is pot. Where does the pot cognition takes place? In the buddhi. This is pot, this is thought, whatever it is. This is cat, rat, mat, hat, bat. All those things are happening where? In the buddhi. So this is one function of the buddhi. The second function of the buddhi is to recognize the truth of itself, which is the truth of the Jagat. So Jagataha Upalabdhisthanam, where the Jagat obtains in a series of cognition, that is the buddhi, the intellect, and where the truth of the Jagat itself obtains as myself. That is what? Sakshi. So when the buddhi cognizes objects, then it is what? Bhavani. It is in touch with the creatrix of the universe. It is its creative function. And then when it falls back on recognizing the truth of itself, it is its being function. It's not even a function. It's just its very, the content of its very, the essence of its very being. Very beautiful verse. And then, and where is this Bhavani? In every body. In every body. And the Sakshi is also Sarvagata in everything. Therefore, I am Kashi Nijabodha Rupa. Okay, here is in fourth verse, there is a tune change. Kashyam Hikashate Kashi.
Kashyam Hikashate Kashi.
Kashi Sarva Prakashika.
Kashi Sarva Prakashika.
Sa Kashi Vidita Yena.
Sa Kashi Viditayena.
Tena Prapta Hikashika.
Tena Prapta Hikashika.
Kashyam Hika together.
Kashyam Hikashate Kashi. Kashi Sarva Prakashika. Sa Kashi Viditayena. Tena Prapta Hikashika.
The literal translation of this stanza makes no sense at all. But I'm going to translate it nonetheless, just to show you how little sense it makes. In Kashi, Kashi shines, and Kashi is the all shining one. The one who knows this Kashi knows, has gained this Kashi. Om Purnamada. So, so what is this trying to say? Kashyam hi kashate Kashi. So this Kashi, which is what? It's Varanasi. This Varanasi, which you want to go see. That's why it's called Varanasi. Because you permanently want to go see it. Okay, so this Varanasi that you want to go see is what? Is this shining? Where is it shining? In your consciousness. This Varanasi, so holy, full of Ganga, full of this, full of that, full of wonderful Ganga Arati is there, and so many things are there, and here a temple, there a temple, everywhere a temple. For this complaining Jiva. And this Kashi that you wanna go see is what? Is shining in where? In your buddhi. Is shining as an object of your consciousness. If your consciousness is not cognizing this Kashi might as well cease to exist. So that Kashi, the outer Kashi, is shining in the light of what? Inner Kashi. And that inner Kashi is you, that conscious presence that abides in and as everything without becoming any one thing. It lends its presence to everything. This consciousness, the very being, the existence, the source of the universe is you. And that presence, that source of the universe happens to be sentient, not insentient. And in that sentience shines this Kashi, outer Kashi. And so that Kashi, this Kashi, there's no distance between that Kashi and this Kashi. So as soon as we say Kashi, we are already there. Why? It is immediately shining in my consciousness. In my awareness, it is shining. So this Kashi, which is me, is lending its presence and existence to that Kashi, which is a pilgrim site. This is very nice. This is wonderful. So that Kashi is an object of delight for all pilgrims, and that Kashi is what? I am giving the sustenance to that Kashi. Oh, can I do this with all objects of delight? Sure, you can say that chocolate cake is an object of my consciousness. It shines in my consciousness. You can say that as well. And so therefore, that Kashi, which everybody wants to go see, which is an ancient city and which has so many stories, it is there in the Puranas, it is there in all the ancient texts, and that Kashi is of no use unless there is this Kashi. So this is what the first part says. Kashyam hi kashate Kashi. Kashyam, in this Kashi shines that Kashi. And then what is this Kashi? What is the nature of this Kashi? Sarva Prakashika. It not only shines the light on that Kashi, it will shine the light on Gaya, Prayag, everything else, and every other pilgrim site. Now, it will also shine the light on Vatican because the Vatican recently has been in the news with the new Pope being elected and all that. So it is shining the light on the Vatican. It is shining the light on any other pilgrim site that is there. And so all those sites, all those holy and sacred sites to anybody anywhere is shining where? In my consciousness, which is the most sacred and the most holy. My consciousness, this consciousness, which is me consciousness, I consciousness, I that is conscious, this conscious being, I am lending my presence to the existence of all these things which are by themselves inert, which cannot cognize themselves. They cannot cognize themselves because they are inert, and I give it meaning. I make it famous by talking about it. I am the one who is lending my presence, and so Kashi is Sarva Prakashika. It shines, it brings everything to light. What is this Kashi now? The revealer, the ultimate revealer who doesn't need to be revealed. The self revealing revealer. Everything else needs one more thing to reveal, but this revealer reveals everything. And then in the process, who will reveal the revealer? The revealer reveals itself. Because if there was one more revealer, that would be Kashi. This would be what? Akashi. No, not Kashi. Then that revealer, who is revealing that revealer? Who is revealing that revealer? Then we'll be here forever. Infinite regress. So therefore, the buck stops here with me. It's all about me. Vedanta is all about me. That's why everyone enjoys it. The topic doesn't move from you. Yeah, it does. You don't have to be, and that's why people feel guilty. Oh, it's such a selfish pursuit. It's not a selfish pursuit, it's the pursuit of the self. And that self happens to be the self of everything and everybody. So it's not a selfish pursuit at all. But in the beginning, it feels nice. I just go and sit and then I learn all about me. So, what did you study? Me, myself. And then, what is the subject matter of Vedanta? I. And then, I'm not an object. First, I'm a subject. I'm Atma. I'm not an Atma. And then, everything belongs to me. And this study is for my sake. And then this knowledge has come from all the rishis who are what? Who are just another reflection of me. That's why Vedanta is instantly comforting because you don't go off the topic of you. You don't have to discuss the neighbors, you don't have to discuss your friends, you don't have to be nice to anybody. You can just say it is all about me. But until you understand the me, when you understand the me, you see that the me is laden with Sarva Prakashakatvam, the ultimate revealer and the ultimate thing, which is the truth of everything that we say has existence. Everything shines in a borrowed light. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. I bhati, or I should say I bhami. See, even in Sanskrit, it ends in me. Yeah. Gacha me. Piba me. Karo me. It's all me, 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 me. So I bhami, I shine. I shine, and then because I am self-lit, not an isotope, but still self-lit. I am self-lit, and then everything lights up because of me. Everything shines after me, and so therefore, here Kashi Sarva Prakashika. Everything just it shines everything else. It brings everything else to light. And then what else? Sa Kashi Vidita Yena. That Kashi, when it is known by whom? When that person knows the Kashi. Which Kashi are we talking about? This Kashi, yes, not that Kashi over there. This Kashi right here. When I know, Tena Prapta Hi Kashika. When they know, when the person knows that this, when the person knows the inner Kashi and has successfully made this internal pilgrimage, then prapta hi kashika. Then everything is gained. The outer kashi is gained, the inner kashi is gained, and everything you want is gained. Sarvan kaman samashnute. All the desires are fulfilled with one stroke for the person who knows the truth of the self. Why? Because the self being everything, you get everything all at once. And so, this is the not much else to say here. The one who knows Kashi gains Kashi. Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahman is non-separate from Brahman. Elsewhere it is put like that. So another tune change in the last stanza. See, the first three stanzas are in Vajra meter. Indra Vajra. Indra Vajra means the thunderbolt, which is the Ayudha, the weapon of the strength of Lord Indra. Indra Vajra meter. And so, yes, the first two stanzas are like a thunderbolt in terms of their content and how much they pack in. And then this one, of course, is our daily Anushtuk, number 4. And then number 5 is another very beautiful meter called Sraghara. Srag means mala. Dhara means the holder of the mala. So if you see a lady holding the a mala, that's a very auspicious and beautiful sight. So the lady is holding the mala. It's a very beautiful sight. Perhaps she's ready to go to the temple. Perhaps she's ready to put it on Bhagavan. And so, so that elegance is there in this meter. Okay. So I will chant and you can follow. काशीक्षेत्रं शरीरं त्रिभुवनजननी
काशीक्षेत्रं शरीरं त्रिभुवनजननी
व्यापिनी ज्ञानगङ्गा
व्यापिनी ज्ञानगङ्गा
भक्तिश्रद्धा गयेयं निजगुरुचरण ध्यानयोगः प्रयागः विश्वेशोऽयं तुरीयस् सकल janamana, yeah. Sakala, it should not be there. That's why there is a mistake there. Sakala, yeah, Sakala. That's why I thought, what is this? Okay, विश्वेशोऽयं तुरीयः सकलजनमन
विश्वेशोऽयं तुरीयः सकलजनमनः
साक्षिभूतोऽन्तरात्मा
साक्षिभूतोऽन्तरात्मा
देहे सर्वं मदीये यदि वसति
देवे सर्वं मदीये यदि वसति
पुनस्तीर्थमन्यम् अन्यत् किमस्ति
पुनस्तीर्थमन्यत् किमस्ति
काशीक्षेत्रं शरीरं त्रिभुवनजननी व्यापिनी ज्ञानगङ्गा भक्तिश्रद्धा गभीरं निज कुरु चरणं विश्वेशोऽयं तुरीयः सकलजनमन साक्षिभूतोऽन्तरात्मा देहे सर्वं मदीये यदि वसति पुनस्तीर्थमन्यत् किमस्ति. Yeah. So, Kashi Kshetram. So, when you say Kashi Kshetram, which Kashi is it being referring to? Varanasi, outer Kashi. So, that's why it is called Kshetram. This should take us immediately back to the 13th chapter. Ah. Idam shariram kaunteya kshetramiti abhidhiyate. This body is known as a field. Why is it known as a field? Because it's an object. It's an object. That's what is talked about later. And then, kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetragnyayo jnanam yatta jnanam udahritam. So there is a distinction made between kshetra and kshetragya, the knower of the field. A field is a field of experience. It is a counter upon which all the experiences take place and I am experiencing it. And this is the so-called field. And then what else is there? I am the knower. I am not the field itself. And what kind of a knower are you? Bhagavan says, Bhagavan is the knower of all the fields. Sarva kshetreshu kshetragyam aham kshetragyaha aham. I am the knower of every body, every mind. I am that consciousness which is the all-knowing Chaitanya, all-knowing presence which abides in all bodies. The body is a kshetra. Something that you occupy is called body. And that which is the occupier is what? Kshetrajna. This has to be talked about, and it's very clear the author is channeling the 13th chapter. So, Kashi Kshetram Shariram. Kashi Kshetram Shariram. Tribhuvana Janani Vyapini Jnana Ganga. And then Kashi Kshetram. So this body is what? Kshetra. This body, which is the body of Kashi Kshetram, is also what? Shariram. And so this body is also like the external Kashi. It is a place. And then what is Ganga? Earlier we saw Ganga is Jnana Pravaha. Here slightly different metaphor. What is this Ganga? Tribhuvana Janani. She who is the mother of all the three worlds. The mother means what? The one who is present. The one who is the nurturer of all the three worlds. And Vyapini, the one who pervades them also, is Ganga. What are the three worlds? Yes. Waking, that's all our world is. Yeah. Eat, sleep, dream, wake up. Eat, sleep, dream. wake up. That's what it is. And then, yeah, that's why eat, sleep, because after you eat and sleep, you get intense dreams. You overeat. This is our three worlds: sleeping, waking, dreaming. These are the worlds. And there is a pervasiveness there. Each one flows into the other. That's why it is Ganga. Keeps on flowing, just like Ganga came from the heaven and then flows underneath also somewhere. And so she flows through all the three worlds. And so this Ganga is the awareness that pervades the sleeper, dreamer, and waker. She is so the sleep dream waking is a very common pedagogical tool used in Vedanta because it's a universal experience. Nobody can say I don't relate to it because I don't sleep. Nobody says. Because everybody has had dreams. Everybody knows sleep. Everybody knows the waking condition. And so, like this, she who, let's just look at the translation and then we'll see. So, she who sleeps, she who is the, who flows in and through the three worlds is the Mother Ganga, Janani, Mother Ganga. And then, so now, Bhakti and Shraddha, that is needed to understand this knowledge and have darshan of Shiva within is what? Gaya. Because you see, there is a kind of a circuit that people do in India when they go to these holy places. So they finish Kashi Vishwanath temple, Bhavani temple, and they go to Gaya and Prayaga. That finishes one circle. So what is Gaya here? Yeah, chale gaya, you know, Shraddha Bhakti, chale gaye. No. So, Gaya is very ironically, Bhakti and Shraddha is called Gaya. Gaya in Hindi means gone. So, but it should stay, it shouldn't be gone. So, just like one of these satellite sites, so satellite sites is equal to Bhakti and Shraddha, which has to be there in order to gain the knowledge of the truth of the Sakshi. In order to gain moksha, Bhakti and Shraddha are very, very, very important. Without Shraddha, without Bhakti, no knowledge can take place. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. There is a very beautiful verse in the Bhagavad Gita. So, Gaya is what? Gaya is Bhakti and Shraddha. Bhakti and Shraddha is the Gaya. And then Nija Guru Charana Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga means the Nija Guru Charana Dhyana Yoga. And the Prayaga is a city of confluence of two rivers. Prayagraj, it is called. It's become famous now because of the recent Kumbh Mela. So then, what is this Prayaga? The Prayaga here is equal to this confluence of the rivers is equal to the Shishya and the Guru meeting on the banks of this knowledge, on the confluence of this knowledge. So Nija Guru Charana Dhyanam Prayagaha. The yoga, the oneness between the Shishya and the Guru, when the Shishya sees what the Guru is trying to say. When the Shishya sees that I am non-separate from the Guru, I am one with the Guru, there is nothing, no difference between me and the Guru when the Shishya says and sees. So, Nija Guru Charana Dhyana Yoga. So, the oneness born of a contemplative mind, dhyana yoga, born of the practice of contemplation, the oneness between the teacher and the student, born of the practice of this contemplation and the exposure to this knowledge is called prayagaha. Then Vishveshaha ayam turiyaha. Vishwanath, Kashi Vishwanath is Turiya. What is Turiya? Don't say fourth state or fourth estate. Okay, it's neither the fourth estate, which is the press, and neither it is the fourth state. Yeah, what is it? It's the only state there is. It's the only thing there is which visits the other three states. That's why I give it the timeshare analogy. So it's like the person from some place which has neither mountains nor river nor snow. You can think of some such place. And then let's say they said, okay, I want to go to the mountains. So they buy one timeshare somewhere in Colorado, let us say. Then they say, oh, but I like the desert, not desert, that's what we will have, but I like the desert also. And then they'll buy some place, a small place in the mountains in Sedona, in Arizona. Then they say, what about the beach? Okay, so they buy a timeshare where? Where shall we make them buy a timeshare? Hawaii? Florida? Okay. Yeah. Hawaii. Hawaii, they go and then they buy a timeshare there. So let's say they meet some people in Colorado. They are in Aspen, and so they meet some people while they want to go skiing, and then they meet some people, and then they say, "Oh, are you from here?" I'm not from here. Yeah, I'm from Kashi. I belong to Kashi. I'm just visiting. Then they go and they go and spend the rest of the winter. They go to Arizona and spend it in that timeshare cabin. There also they meet some people at the grocery store. Oh, when did you move here? Are you new? No, I'm just visiting. I'm really from Kashi. Then they go to Hawaii. Oh, when did you come? Where do you work? No, I'm not from here. Where am I from? Kashi. That Kashi I am. I'm not from any of these places, you will say. So just like so the waking state and the dream state and the sleeping state are timeshares. Various timeshares that you go visit and have a good time. Unless you're having a nightmare, then it's not a good time. Okay. So this is very easy to see with the sleeping state. Why? Because hopefully now you're awake. Okay, some chai went in and now you're awake. All right. And so therefore this is very easy to falsify the sleep state. That was not me, that was just sleep state. Now this is me. Dream state also you can falsify very easily. Why? Because if you dream that you won the lottery, that dream money cannot buy you a house. You can't use it for a down payment for a house in the waking state. So that you can easily say, that was just a dream. That money is no good here. No use at all. So the dream state is also, we are able to falsify. From what standpoint are these two falsified? From the waker. From the waker standpoint. Now the waker we take is to be true. But the truth of the waker, the truth of the waking state is what? Born, gone, born, gone. Waker turns into sleeper, sleeper turns into dreamer. Dreamer then wakes up. And then again sleeper, dreamer, waker, sleeper, dreamer, waker. Why are we prioritizing the waking state? Huh? Because this is the only place where you are karta and bhokta. You can get your hands on things. In dream, you are just a bhokta. In sleep also, you are just an experiencer. You cannot be the doer. Here, you can say, aha, I can plot. Yes, I can plot many people's fates. I can. So I can do many things. I can plan people's demise. I can do all kinds of things. So here I am a karta in the waking state. I'm also a bhokta. I'm also an experiencer. That's why the waking state is easy to get stuck onto, very easy to get addicted to. But all the Shastra, the Mandukya Upanishad, which talks about this very easily and very much at length, says that the waking state is is also to be falsified. What should I say then? You can't say I am the waker. What can you say? I am as though visiting the waking state. I'm just visiting. I'm visiting the waking state. But how can I say then? That means I'm homeless. I'm visiting, I'm just having timeshares everywhere. Waker, timeshare, sleeper, timeshare, and then what else? Dreamer, also timeshare. Where is my home? Your home is Om. And that Om is called here as Kashi. Kashi is your home. That self shining I is your home. That in whose presence the waking, dream, and sleep come together in a continuity. That is you, and that is called Turiya. That Turiya is not a fourth state, one more state it is not. It is that because of which all these three states exist and shine. I give the reality to these three states. And so it is Turiya visiting the waking state, Turiya visiting the sleep state, Turiya visiting the dream state without becoming the dreamer, sleeper, waker. Understood? Say yes, even if you don't want to. So this Turiya is the hero of Kashi. Who is that? Swami Vishwanath, Bhagavan. Vishveshaha ayam Turiyaha. That Vishvesha is Turiya. And then what else is there? Sakala Janamana Sakshibhutaha Antaratma. Because why is this Vishvesha Turiya? Just like the Vishwanatha temple in Kashi brings all the people and stands there as a testament to. So it's a very ancient city, ancient temple, and stands there as a testament to this the devotion of everybody. And then that which pleases the mind, Sakala Janamana Ranjakaha. It pleases the minds of all the people, and it's also the witness. It knows what is going on in the minds of all the jivas. And so this Turiya, the truth of you, is what? Antaratma, the innermost self. That shining innermost self. Another Mahavakya here. It's just going by. If you don't catch it quickly, it will go by. Vishveshoyam sakala manajana janamana sakshibhuta antaratma. So when that Vishvesha is the Vishvasya Isha, when the Lord of the universe is equated to my state as a witness, that is a Mahavakya. The equation of the Jiva with Ishvara, here Mahavakya, and then Sakala Janamana, what is that? Sakshi Bhuta Antaratma, the Antaratma that obtains as the all-pervasive witness, as the all-abiding witness. So, Madiye Dehe, in my body itself, Yadi Sarvam Vasati, if all this is living here, why to go on a pilgrimage? Punaha Tirthamanyam Kimasti. It ends on a rhetorical note. Where is the pilgrimage? Why to go on a pilgrimage? How to go on a pilgrimage? Who is the goer? Me. What is the destination? Me. And if I take a train, plane? Me. So everything is me. I told you, right? Even before I told you, it's all about me. Everything is me. There is no goer, there is no coming, there is no going, and no reason to go also. Like this baby Ganesha knew. This is the story of all baby devatas today. Baby Hanumanji and now baby Ganesha knew this. Baby Ganesha and baby Subramanya, they had a challenge. One nice celestial mango came. And mango is very difficult to cut into two. And so very diplomatically, Mother Goddess Parvati said, whoever makes 3 rounds of the entire universe gets this mango. And Subramanya said, oh, I have a peacock, but it's a land bird, doesn't matter. I can go on it, and I'll go all over the universe, and I'll come back and I'll get the mango. And he even pointed to his brother and laughed. Look at you. You are Mr. Chubb. And then, yeah, he should be like that. That's what it is. Because he's supposed to be all knowing, and having all that knowledge in his stomach, he makes it big. That's all. Yeah, it's not because he eats too much. Yeah. Lambodara, because he's just the wielder of so much knowledge. You, Mr. Chubb, and then what is your vahana? What is your mode of transportation? Yeah, Mushika. Mushaka means what? Mouse. This was before SPCA, okay? That's why they could get away with it, yeah. Otherwise, him sitting on a mouse and going, how long will it take? And poor mouse will need a chiropractor if it survives the ordeal. Yeah. It will have many dislocated vertebrae. So he just looked at him, looked at the mouse, said, ha ha ha, laughed, and was off on his peacock. So this fruit is in my tummy already. I got this. This is in the bag. I'm off. And he went off. And then Ganesha said, yes, he has a point. I can't go on this one. But then he saw his parents. Yes, Jagatah Pitarau, they are the parents of the universe. They are the whole universe. And indeed, they are my universe also. So very easily, he did 3 rounds of the parents. And by the time a very harried Kartikeya came back and he was sweating and all out of breath. This fellow had finished the mango and was eating the peels also. Elephant. So everything goes in. Eaten everything. There was nothing to show. Subramanya was livid. What? How could you do this to me? What is this? How could this fellow come first? They said, well, he just circumambulated us 3 times. And therefore, he gets the fruit. He sees us as the mother and the father of the universe. And so the story is that he got so wild, he got so angry that he left home and stood on a hilltop, which is now another pilgrimage site. Don't worry, that's also within. It is called Parani. Yes. And there in this place, there is a baby Subramanya there, and made out of some kind of a stone, Navapashana, 9 kinds of minerals are there on it, and it also has some cyanide. But then people put Panchamrita on it, and then what is that? Milk his legs and get that, and then give it to eat. It cures many diseases somehow. I don't know how. So that's why he's supposed to be, he was very angry when he first came. So he's bathed in cool things. That is all our bhavana. Bhagavan is not angry. This is just a story to understand the all pervasiveness of everything. That is what it is. So this Sakshi Bhuta Antaratma is everything, everywhere, all the time, and never absent, ever present. And Ganesha, that's why he has a big tummy. He recognized it. He recognized it very quickly. And so Sakshi Bhuta Sarva Bhutantaratma. So this Vishveshaha is Turiya. And who is this Turiya? The Turiya is Bhagavan. Turiya is myself. And is the Sakshi of all, is the innermost is the innermost dweller of all beings. Every single being is this. And then in my body only everything is there. Within this body mind sense complex are all the places of pilgrimage. This is a very good way to lose self hatred as it pertains to the body. You can say there is also one more thing, one more shloka. I forget what it is. It's like my head is this, my heart is this, and so you name all the various pilgrimage sites and say these are my various body parts. And so the self-loath and the fear connected to the self-judgment, self-hatred, all that goes with texts like these. Okay, so let us chant the whole thing together one more time and then I'll stop for questions. Mano nivritti paramopashantihi satirthavarya manikarnika ja Jnana-pravaha Vimala-diganga Sakashikaham Nijabodharupa Yasyamidam Kalpitamindrajalam Characharam Bhati Manovilasam Satchit Sukhaika Paramatmarupa Sakashikaham Nijabodharupa Osheshu Panchaswadhirajamana Bhaktir Bhavani Pratidehadeham Sakshi Shiva Sarvabhutanatma Sakashikaham Nijabodharupa Kashyami Kashate Kashi Kashi Sarvaprakashika Sakashi Viditayena Tena Prapta Hikashika Kashi Kshetram Shariram Tribhuvana Janani Vyapini Jnana Ganga Bhakti Shraddha Garyam Nijaru Charana Dhyana Yoga Prayagaya Vishveshoyam Turiya Sakala Janamana Sakshi Bhutontaratma Dehe Sarvam Madhye Radivasati Purnastirtham Kimasti Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Questions? Yes.
Swamini did a wonderful teaching about the nature of the self, the real reality that we should all focus on. When we get out of here, though, there's such a clash because we encounter the waking world, and in the waking world, at least in the Western way of thought, the intellect is given such a
Prominence,
right? It's almost like a bad teaching acting teacher. They teach us to act in a way that is not harmonic, and so when we spend more time in Kashi, internal Kashi, asking for guidance for the true way, the true dharmic way of behaving and acting in the world, how do we make this process?
How do we transition from inner Kashi to outer chaos? So that is, that's why the born gone metaphor. That's right. You just see everything as born gone, then nothing is worth engaging in too much. You just touch and let it go. More touch and go, touch and go, touch and go, mostly go. Somebody picks up an argument. And you, even if you have strong opinions, just remind yourself this is just touch and go. This is just gone. It doesn't matter. Think about it. 100 years from now, is this point that you were right? Does it matter? In the large scheme of things, not at all. Not in the least bit. So we make a big deal out of nothing. And so that we have to see. And every time you encounter a difficult situation, you say, born, gone, born, gone. And then you come back to Kashi. And keep the plane ready. What is that plane? The plane to take you to Kashi. Keep it ready. Keep that awareness. Sakshi is the plane that takes you to Kashi. Yeah. Keep the Sakshi plane ready. Get to the place of the observer. Even if you feel like reacting, don't say anything outside. After that, you can come home and write it out, or you can beat a dusty carpet, pretend it is them. Yeah. It's a safe way to let out steam. Yeah.
Does it help to focus on the people that we encounter in their background, to have compassion for them, so to diffuse some of the reaction?
Yeah, you can, but that takes some time. And sometimes we don't understand the meaning of compassion. We think it's colluding with them. And that we have to be clear. Compassion does not always mean being kind and agreeing to everything everybody says and becoming a doormat in the process. And one of the wonderful Zen masters, Thich Nhat Hanh, wrote of his experience once, where in the ashram, one man had come who had lost his wife and his young daughter in a fire, house fire. He was a photographer and a writer, and both wife and daughter perished. His whole family perished, so he was just beside himself. So somebody brought him to the ashram, and he met the master, and the master told him, "You can stay here and recover a little bit, but as soon as you're better, please become part of the ashram life." What do you do? I'm a writer and a photographer. Good, we need somebody. Please contact the publication department and please start doing this. 3 months went by, no sign of him. Was never leaving that cottage. One cottage was given to him, one small kutia. He was not leaving the kutia at all. And then the master asked him to come. He would always be very obedient. Come, talk to him and say, "I'm just not in a place at all. I can't do this and I'm just going back." And he would just stay there. It was very clear. He was feeling so sorry for himself. He was not able to come out of it. So one day the master went to visit him. So he just came out of the cottage, and the master said, "I think it's time. No, I can't do this, I can't do that." He was talking, and while he was talking, the master said, "Do you have a match?" "Yes." And so he gave the matchbox, and he struck the matchbox and set fire to the cottage right in front of him. And the man said, "What are you doing? I'm already traumatized by fire and things going up in flames. How can you do this to me?" And raved and ranted. The master just stood there, just calmly stood there. And after a while, he just, that was like, he just understood, okay, this is, I was using this cottage as a crutch. I was not, I was using it to feel sorry for myself and feel so victimized that everybody is against me all the time, which is not true. Nobody is against anybody. But this is what he thought. Fate is against me, everybody is against me, God is against me, everything is against me. And he was not able to come out of this. And then after that, that incident transformed him. Why? Because it was a very dispassionate act and it was a true act of compassion. Sometimes you have to pull away the rug. Yeah. It's an act of compassion to do that. You can't say, "Here is one more rug," and give the person, more things to catch on to. And so that is important. So compassion comes later. In the beginning, you can just say that, okay, this is just, this is not worth getting into. Yeah. Vedanta is always what? Me, 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 me. So this is not worth getting into. I just let that go. And then as you grow in this knowledge and when we understand the difference between enabling somebody's behavior and being compassionate, then we can do that. But that is not very clear in the beginning because samsara is just enabling everybody. Everybody enables the worst in all others. This is what is samsara. So first we have to extricate ourselves, and then only that extricating will happen through sakshi bhava. I am the observer, I am not affected. This is born and gone. This is not worth engaging in. And then the second step is to say they are behaving in this way because they have a background. You don't need to go into their background unless you are their therapist. Yeah. Then you go into their background, all that. But if you're not their therapist, you don't need to know why they are behaving like this. You just need to know there must be some hurt. They have a background. And you know you have a background. That is already comes, that the compassion is already here, you see. A very dispassionate, objective compassion has already arrived when I recognize that the other person has a background, I have a background, and then that's enough. Nothing more is needed. I have a background, that person and their background is talking right now. My background is just talking. We are not talking to one another. We are not arguing with one another. My background is arguing with their background. When I know that, then I can let go. That is compassion, recognizing that, okay, they are not, this is not them. This is their background speaking. And that is compassion already. Yeah. So then after that, you can, you can, as one grows, the compassion also becomes very, very clear. Otherwise, the compassion is mired in enabling somebody. Yeah. Then that becomes a much more sticky issue.
Swamini,
Yes.
how does one practice that? When really things are happening, it's not. It's just like you are hijacked, and to be
As
like,
though hijacked.
Yeah.
This you have to say.
Yeah, but at that moment, that as though also doesn't come.
No, that's why you have to practice this. You have to do more Shravanam. And when you listen more, then you are able to practice. This is born, this is gone. This is not as real as I am. If I am the witness of something, what I witness and myself, we don't occupy the same order of reality. This is what I have to understand. And therefore, I don't let it touch me because it is born and gone. It's not worth it. Oh, but somebody is suffering. Why do you have to suffer if somebody is suffering? No, that person is beloved to me. In fact, you will be of much more help if you don't also start suffering along with them. You have to be dispassionate. You have to be there. And so that you can be there and tell them the same thing.
I guess you do the same thing with your own sickness and body
Yes,
too.
absolutely. This is just the body. Something is happening to the body. If it's time to go, let the body go. Doesn't matter. So we just do that. And yes, when when the body is in pain, it is difficult. It's okay. But it's not that the sakshita, the status of sakshi, one can lose, but one has to come back to it. One can temporarily be discombobulated, but that's very temporary. Yeah.
Is it right that this kind of compassion is the antidote to being a bhokta too?
Yes.
Because if the rug gets pulled out from underneath,
Yes.
that is an act of compassion that I am receiving, even if it doesn't.
Yes,
feel
even
like
if it doesn't feel like that. Yes.
So then the hard lessons are good for both the
Karta and the bhokta. Correct. Absolutely.
So why did you say you are not a karta in dreams? Because when you are dreaming, you are actually feeling like you are doing everything.
Yeah, but you're not really doing anything.
Yeah, but
Because if you
the waking world is also mithya, right?
No, see, I'll tell you there is a difference because waking world is vyavaharika satta. It is a shared reality by all of us. The dream reality is your personal reality. So supposing, I go and beat up somebody in my dream, in the waking state, I'm not culpable. You can't call the police and what is that and catch me and put me in jail. Why? Because I just beat up somebody in the dream. Correct? Yeah, but if I beat up somebody in the waking state, then this is vyavaharika satta. This is a shared reality. It's not as real as Kashi, which is my ultimate absolute reality, but this shared reality, in this empirical reality, if I beat up somebody, I will go to jail. Yeah.
Yeah, I have two questions. One is Buddhir Bhavani and then Sakshi Shivaha. So Buddhir Bhavani is the Shakti or the function that helps us helps Jiva
Cognize
different
two
things.
kinds of things.
Yes.
One is objects and then the truth of the subject.
And when you say it falls back.
When the
Shiva.
truth of the subject is cognized, and then that is Shiva.
And so at that point, one transcends the buddhi, uses the buddhi to transcend buddhi. Is that correct?
You don't need to transcend anything. You just, you're already not the buddhi. Yeah, you know that. Buddhi is just, it's not a tool, it is a place. It's a receptacle of knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
My second question is more the times that we live in. What you mentioned a couple of minutes ago, the distinction between not being a doormat,
Yes.
at the same time having the compassion.
Yes.
I mean, as others have said, that is very difficult, kind of, it appears to be difficult.
Yeah.
Because every day there is a new thing
Yes.
thrown at us, and
As though.
what
As though.
as
We change the language and everything goes. It's very important to
Yes.
not, to how we talk. It's very important.
and if there is something that can be done, one has to do it.
Yes.
Otherwise, prayer,
Yes.
probably.
Yes. With practice, you understand the difference between enabling, compassion, being a doormat, all these things. You practice and see. In the beginning, it's okay to stumble. It's okay to pick yourself up and dust yourself off. It's all right. You keep living and you keep learning. And then,
And this too
then
shall pass.
yes, born, gone, you just say. And then you become a being who's as compassionate as Adi Shankara. One cannibal approached Adi Shankara and said, I have never had a sadhu for lunch. Yeah. And you're a pure being, I'd like to have you for lunch. So when's a good time? Adi Shankara said, you can have me whenever you want, no problem. But my disciples are a bit of a pain in the neck because there is one of them, this Padmapada, who is very, very protective of me. And he is as strong as 10 horses. And you can eat me when he goes to wash my clothes. So when he goes, he even gives him the correct time. Yeah. Look at that compassion. You can have me for lunch. It will be an early lunch. It won't be a timely lunch. It will be an early lunch, more of a brunch. Yeah. You can have me for brunch when he's gone to wash my clothes. Oh, what time is that? Adi Shankara tells him, oh, 10, 11-ish. He goes, washes the clothes. That time he's far away in the river, and you can come and do swaha, whatever you want to do, you do. And then, Padmapada is hearing all this. He is behind the bushes. So he leaps out of the bushes and sends that fellow packing. Okay. So that is the extent of compassion. That's the extent of non-body identification. There is zero body identification. What does it matter? It'll see after death. It will be the food of so many creepy crawlies. So even now, it's the food of this fellow who has a desire to eat a sadhu and wonder what it's like. It's like we also wonder. I've had Mexican cuisine. I've had Italian cuisine. I wonder what Vietnamese cuisine is like. What he was doing. So that's the final compassion. Yeah. But one grows into it. Yeah. And we have to change our language. We cannot say I am hijacked because that becomes a reality. You're not hijacked. Things are being thrown at me. Who's throwing what at whom? Nobody's throwing anything at you. So if you are constrained to say that, it's very easy. You attach a disclaimer. What is that? As though. Language has power. Thoughts have power. We have to be careful. Yes.
Thank you, Swamini, for a beautiful, tremendous, helpful session. I was wondering, you mentioned earlier about bhakti and shraddha when you have it, the knowledge flows.
Yes.
But then I thought for example, for my children, I feel like they need knowledge first, and they don't have bhakti.
They don't need knowledge. Children don't need knowledge.
How do they get the bhakti then?
From you. First, they develop bhakti, they do small pujas, whatnot. You study Vedanta, and then the children are, slowly learn. They don't need the knowledge. You need the knowledge to be able to parent them well, and then then naturally they will get interested later on in adulthood. Knowledge is not for children; it is for adults. Yes.
In the context of modified body mind state, is the Atman is selfish at the end of the life?
No.
It clings to the body, it doesn't let the body die. So what is the phenomenon there?
Atma doesn't cling to the body. We say that. That's how we talk. That's why I said we have to
Body
question.
clings to the Atma.
Body also doesn't cling. Body is inert. Ahankara. Atma doesn't cling because Atma is everywhere. And so body cannot cling because body doesn't have volition. Free will is not there. So the ahankara, which identifies itself as the body, has difficulty letting go. And sometimes you have to give the person, even if they are unconscious, you have to give the person the permission to let go. It's okay. Everybody is fine. You can go. You can tell them. Yeah.
So when body goes in coma and
Yes.
Atma is still stay there.
Yeah. Atma is also there. Body is also there. Atma is also there. But sometimes, and also it's prarabdha based. It may not be because they are not letting go. We are not that powerful after all. And so it's the prarabdha is there. And as long as the prarabdha remains, the body will be there. It won't let go. It will be there. Life will be there.
What happens then? Some states now they have a free will. If I want to get rid of myself, I can sign in.
Yeah, but it's not so simple. You have to have it.
Oregon and those.
Yeah. See, it is very regulated. You can't just sort of say, I want to off myself and then please give me permission. It's not so simple. You have to. One has to be diagnosed with a terminal illness, and that has to be diagnosed by 3 different doctors, and one doctor who they themselves designate.
Yeah, apart from the
Yeah.
phenomenon or the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, the process
What
is
happens
okay.
in that case when somebody really terminally ill and they sign that? And
Yeah.
When they inject and
It is
what happens in
allowed.
that
It
case?
is allowed.
It
It
is-
is allowed.
No, in the spirituality, what happens? Because it is against the nature. It happened.
It is against the nature, correct, but it is allowed because of the suffering there is so much that it is allowed. Even great gurus have done this. They have understood that, okay, the body is not going to be there much longer. Its purpose on earth is finished, and then they have given up their lives.
Yeah, but now legally it is not allowed. Like Naneshwara did the samadhi, and a lot of saints have did samadhi.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It is allowed. So it is, it is, what is that? If it is allowed, if there is a history of that, then we go along with that. And we go along with the laws of the land. If one is living in a state where it's not allowed, then it is illegal. So this is Vishesha Dharma. This is not coming under Samanya Dharma. Samanya Dharma is you cannot hurt the body. You didn't make your body, you cannot hurt the body. But this is Vishesha Dharma, special constraining circumstances. In special places, it's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
What does knowledge feel like? So I'm thinking about the Ganga, the flow of the Ganga River. Sometimes it will be gentle, sometimes it will be very tumultuous, maybe.
Yeah.
So if knowledge can feel good, and the flow of knowledge can feel good, and it can also feel bad.
It can't feel bad. It's more in the sense, it's not even the flow of knowledge, it's the flow that is knowledge. If I say flow of knowledge, it's like saying the head of Rahu.
Yeah.
What is Rahu? All head. So like this. So it is a flow that is knowledge. In the sense how it comes in the mind is just that there is no behind, there is no past, there is no future, there's only now. There's only absolutely now. All that is here is now. And if I'm present in the now, it's eternal. That is the flow. That now is the flow. So, but the jnani, the person of knowledge is full like an ocean. So sometimes the ocean is a roaring ocean, sometimes it's a calm ocean, but nonetheless it's the ocean. It's the fullness that is there.
But at the very beginning of the shlokas, we talked yesterday or the day before about how we need to train the buddhi in order to be a good receptacle. And my question is, I'll be more personal. My question is, how do I get away from constantly criticizing myself because I have not trained my buddhi well enough? As soon as something feels bad, I think, crap, I did not train my buddhi enough.
Yeah.
I have to train my buddhi more. I have to stop everything and train my buddhi more.
Yes. There's some kind of, speaking of compassion, we start directing that to oneself. Yeah. To bring that back to yourself and say, it's okay. I can have another chance. I can give myself another chance. And a very effective exercise is to think of how you were when you were 4 or 5 years old. Think of that small child, sweet, innocent, defenseless. And if she did something wrong, quote unquote wrong, I mean, not that anything wrong can be done. This is a very good meditation. You can close your eyes and visualize that. Visualize yourself as a small boy or a small girl, and then you can see that that child is totally innocent, cannot do anything wrong. Let's say it did something wrong by mistake. Oh, and if it was very upset with itself, what would you do? You would hug this child and say, it's okay, it's not your fault, it's all right. And this is how you learn, this is how you grow. This is a very effective meditation. You can even do this by visualizing your parents when they were small, as 4 or 5 years old, and see that they were also defenseless and they were also vulnerable, and their hurts, they also got hurt because of their defenselessness and vulnerabilities. And then I also got hurt because of my defenselessness and my vulnerabilities. And then it is really nobody's fault. This is how samsara is. So we absolve that little child. And in so doing, we have created a space between you and that small child. And that forgiveness is a very important part of growing into Vedanta. Yeah.
Develop self-love.
Yeah, exactly.
And do you accept it as prarabdha too, Swami?
Yes, everything is prarabdha only. Yeah. But we have to make peace with prarabdha. You have to be grateful that this is my prarabdha. Because without this background, without this parentage, I wouldn't have been who I am. I would have been perhaps somebody completely else. Okay? Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kasyit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you. Give those fruits.